Hello and welcome to the Nova Show Real Estate Records. My name is Tristan Hammett and I'm your host for today's episode. And today I am thrilled to have Utah's top 500 realtor, Jen Mascaro, with me. With over 20 years of experience, Jen has become a powerhouse in the industry. As a broker, wife, and mother, she leads with her heart, making her clients feel like family. From door knocking and open houses to giving back to the community, Jen is a true leader who excels in everything she does. Her dedication to the real estate industry and her genuine care for others sets her apart. Let's dive into her incredible journey and insights. So thank you, Jen, for being here.
Thank you for inviting me.
Yes,
Sorry,
of course.
I'm not prepared.
Oh my
but
goodness,
hey, it's all good.
You are beautiful.
It's been a busy month.
Okay,
so
and that's good.
yeah, it is.
So
for sure.
I met Jen actually from a cold call, and then we met after that.
Yeah.
It was a couple years ago. Actually, I think right after I started at Novation, and we've just kept in touch over the past couple of years.
Yeah.
So she's amazing. I've heard her speak, and she has some really great stories that I want to talk about a little bit. But first, let's talk about your history, where you're from, and how did you get into the real estate industry?
Okay, so I grew up in Harriman. Before Harriman was Harriman, you had to drive 7 miles to get even a gallon of milk, all the way to the Maverick in Riverton. So that gives you an idea of how much it's grown. So I grew up in Harriman. I have 4 little brothers. They're not little, they're all bigger than me now, but 4 brothers. And I'm the only girl, the oldest. And my parents ran a trucking company. So I ended up, I learned how to sell clear back in the day. My mom would be, Jen, answer that phone. And I would call, they would have landscapers call me and ask for a load of topsoil or something. So I'd be taking down orders. So from 8-9 years old, she had me answering phones because she was busy. So just kind of started in business that way as in the entrepreneurial piece of it, and it just has evolved from there.
I love it. Okay, so and then what got you into the realist, wanting to learn more about real estate?
So my family's always owned a lot of land, a lot of land out in Harriman. My grandpa, I'd go with him when he'd be heading over to go sell an acre of land or go sell 5 acres. So I was always around him. And then my dad and mom had some land, and they were doing business with different things. And my dad was taking me to county meetings with Randy Horiuchi and stuff. I'd be 13, 14 years old sitting in county meetings because my parents didn't believe in babysitters. So, so I was involved in that from early on, and just listening to the conversations and being a piece of it. My dad used to drive around. We were really poor. We were super, super poor. So I grew up in a single wide trailer from the beginning. And then my parents have grown this big, beautiful business, but we grew up way poor. So my dad would drive us around on Sundays to go look at jobs, but we thought we were looking at houses. So we'd be driving around, and my dad go, oh, look at that big house. I wonder what that guy does for a living. Look at that big house. So he was always kind of pushing it just a little bit. And it was always yeah, I want to live in a big house. I don't want to live in a single wide trailer anymore. They finally built a home when I was 15. But yeah, we grew up in this little trailer and just pushed and pushed and pushed. And my parents, no matter how hard they got knocked down, they just kept pushing, and they became multimillionaires, and they were high school dropouts. So.
Wow.
So yeah.
What an awesome story. I did not know that.
Yeah, so
Okay, very cool. So that was your taste of real estate.
Uh-huh.
Okay, so how long ago did you get licensed?
So in 1996, I got my license, and I hated real estate agents. I hated real estate. I hated all of it. It was awful. I'd go into a real estate office every day, and it was always the pressure was on. It was a time where the market wasn't amazing, and people would be fighting over deals, crying over this, crying over that. And I just thought, oh my gosh, I can't do this. So I went to work for the Salt Lake County Sheriff's Office, and I was the sheriff's office for quite some time. And I was a single mom, so I didn't get to spend Christmas Eves, Christmas days with my kids. I only get a portion of it. And I just decided I hated it. So as much as I loved the job, just not being able to be a mom. So I quit there, and I went to work as a financial I don't even know what the terminology was. It was for an insurance company, but basically I handled all of the billing, and I think they called me a finance coordinator or something, some stupid title. So I did that, and then I just wanted to be a real estate agent so bad. I'm like, I'm just going to go back and do it my way. I want to do it my way. I want to have like a different relationship with people, just have it completely different. So I went back into it. I first started with Stonebrook, and I was with Bob for quite some time, I'd say, and then it evolved from there. But I loved it from there. I was a flat fee agent, and he kind of told me, you know what? I don't take new people. You can come here, but you're on your own. And I just had to do it. He had no training, no anything, and I had to take it all the way by myself and try to navigate it. And there were some big wins. There were some big fails. Like it's never easy. That first 3 years kicks your butt. Like if you can't, you have to be prepared for 3 years of hell to have the glory. You really do.
Yes. So tell me about how'd you get your first deal?
Working in open house.
An open house?
Well, actually, no. So I was in real estate school, and I kept telling everyone I knew, just wait. Don't list your house. Don't do this. Don't do that. I'm getting my real estate license. Please don't do it. Please don't list. And then as soon as because this is the second time, so I reactivated, or I went back through school in 2008. It took me 2.5 weeks. I guess let's back up. So I was at the gas station counting out change to buy a gallon of milk. I drove this old 1996 Saturn that had the mirror ripped off.
I remember this.
Yeah, and I was just like crying in tears. I'm like, I don't want to be here. This is not where I want to be. And I was struggling to take care of kids. I mean, our economy today has a lot of that same feel that I was feeling back in that time. I'm like, I am not going to be this. I'm going to get my license. I'm never going to look back. I don't want to look back. And I just worked and worked and worked. So I got 3 or 4 people to hold their listings until I finished my real estate school, took my test, and I called him. I think Mark Green was the guy's name. And he had built a house that he was just going to sell. And I'm like, hey, I got it. Can I list your house? And I listed it, and the first person who came through the house bought it.
Wow.
So I was doing an open house, and their agent was doing an open house. And so they were out looking, and they showed up at my house, and they bought that house. So that's luck. That's pure luck, because that doesn't happen.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Very
so that
cool.
was one of my first ones, but I busted my butt. I was waiting tables, so I worked at Tuscany and then at Frank's, but I worked at Tuscany in the mornings, or I'd do real estate in the mornings, go work the lunch shift, and then I would go back, work the dinner shift, go back, do my paperwork. I was working probably 16, 18 hours a day, trying to make it and trying to make it all happen. So.
Yeah. And so how did you just continue this ball rolling to where you were getting transactions? And to where you felt like you were comfortable enough to let go of your serving jobs.
Mm-hmm. Probably just door knocking, and I wanted to make sure that I had at least 2 to 3 months of payments in the bank before I quit. And so it was a lot of door knocking, talking to people, everyone that I could talk to, or it was almost crazy, because I'm like, no, I'm going to make this happen. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to stop. So I door knocked, I talked to people. I even took, in Riverton, I'd do a farm. I had this little farm, and I would do a coloring contest, and I would take pumpkins to people's doors, and I would do all these different things that I could just to engage with people, just to keep the business going. But I had such great clientele when I was waiting tables. Like, I had some of the best, like, people who would come in and they'd wait for my section.
Yeah.
So a lot of those people I've sold homes to, a lot of people that I worked at the sheriff's office with, I've sold homes to. So just having great relationships has actually helped me like get to where I need to go, basically. Like, I've had some of the best relationships and best friendships with people who have referred me business, and yeah, it's been awesome.
I love that. And that is something about you that just really sticks out, because you do all the things and it works. You do the pop buys, you do the door knocking, you do the open houses, and on top of that, you have your family, you've got animals, you've got people that they are your family, but you've taken in to take care of. And not only that, but you also give back to the real estate community, and the communities around us. And I just love that about you. And you're just so sweet. And that's why I really couldn't, like, when we have our Thankathon and Thanksgiving. No.
I know some people think I'm if they're on the other side of a transaction and I have to defend my client, they're like, Jen's evil. But that's okay. That's what I want to make sure that I protect my clients as much as I can. But you want to keep great relationships. And I've worked with some amazing agents out there. Mm-hmm. And I've worked with some agents who, if they would take a few more classes, if they would do these little things, like, it would level them up so much. But you don't ever want to be mean to someone. But I always try to share as much information as I can with other agents, because there's nothing better in the industry than people telling you, I've got an agent. And because back in the day, it used to be, I have an agent, I hate them. And now, like, I'll come across people like, I've got an agent and I love my agent. I'm like, that's so awesome, because I love your agent too, and I've done business with your agent. Mm-hmm. But to be able to hear that in the community is so awesome, because more times than not, it's the opposite. So I think that the biggest piece of giving back in our real estate community right now is actually helping people find the tools to educate themselves to be the best agent they could be. Because with everything that's happened with the buyer's agent commission, everything, there's such a stigma around us. So to help everyone level up, it helps every single one of us in this industry.
Absolutely. So how did you feel when when all that was happening? I know there was a lot of uncertainty and fear.
It's
so how did
true.
You feel?
So first of all, I felt like it was a violation of our sellers' rights, because they should be able to advertise how much they want to pay a buyer's agent. Second of all, I felt bad for some sellers or buyers if they weren't educated and knowing where their money went, because it's important for us to tell them where every single penny goes. And then I felt worried as a listing agent, because I do list a lot of properties. I do work with buyers a lot, but I definitely lean more toward listings. And I started thinking about all the implied agency lawsuits that could come up, and all these different things that could possibly come up from even having a conversation with somebody walking through an open house door, because you start to talk to them about lending, you start to talk to them about other houses. There is a line of, I feel, implied agency once you start to have those conversations with someone. So now it's tough. It really is. But I think either way, the buyer pays the commission, or the seller does. You know what? Because they're the ones giving the money. So it's a give and take. It's a transaction that happens where if everyone knew their expectations of who was paying what and how it was happening, then it would be completely different. Because buyers, at the end of the day, they're like, do I have to pay your commission? Yes, but at the end, because they truly do. Because they're paying the seller, and that money is coming back to you. So it was just such a gray area where it could have been cleaned up so much easier than the way that it had to go down.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. And so can you tell me, I know you have some designations, and then did I say you speak Spanish?
No, I don't. I speak a little bit.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, just enough to...
Okay.
I used to tell people, because I worked in the jail, because I worked as a 911 operator and a dispatcher, and then I tell everyone Sheriff Kennard promoted me to jail, and I went to jail every day for 5 years. It was horrible, and it really wasn't horrible. Jail was actually like a city within a city, but it's depressing. It's a sad place. But, so I tell everyone I speak enough Spanish to be able to book someone in jail.
Okay.
So there you go. But probably a little more now.
Yeah.
So I have an at-home with diversity designation, and I've taken...
I've never heard about that one. Can you tell me more about that?
It's really awesome, because so many people are so worried about violating, I guess, basically... You're racist, you're this, you're that, just that whole thing. But honestly, in every culture, there's so many really cool things within a culture. So we learned in these classes, like in some Asian cultures, if you use red ink, the coroner signs death certificates in red ink.
Oh.
So it's like kind of a taboo thing to use red ink when you're dealing with some ethnicities and different cultures. And I've learned a lot with some of my clients, like about Vastu. I've learned, so the Indian culture actually has something, it's kind of like the feng shui, but it's the Indian version of feng shui. So it's so awesome, all the different cultures that go into life. It's awesome. So when people are like, oh, we don't talk about this, we don't talk about that, I think it's amazing to talk about it, because there's so many really cool things that you could learn and people could share about their culture, their ethnicity. But it's such a gray area too. It's like really nuts. But some of my clients are just amazing, and I've learned so much from them and about what matters to them and all the good things just by being able to engage and have conversations. So I helped a client draw out a house one time, and he was of Indian descent. It ended up being a parade home. Him and his wife, they're amazing. But they taught me so much about how your meditation room shouldn't be above a bedroom because those thoughts go up and get caught in there, and like all different types of things where they have a water spigot or a water, like the hose or the tub bib down below. I don't even know what you'd call it, just the faucet or whatever. But then they'd have a shower because in India they wash off. They don't want to rinse out the water coming down. So they have some family members where we built the shower where it had the tub faucet or the tub piece down in the bottom. Plus it had like a shower head, but it was a shower, and then you hook a bucket over it so that they could wash that way. So just different things like, and then the staircase going right down to the front door in feng shui means like their blessings or whatever are going to go down and out the door as opposed to being there. And then Ivory Homes does a really good job of it, but in, again, feng shui in the Asian culture, when a lot, when you pull into a cul-de-sac, if the lot goes like this, a pie shape, and it's like small in the front and large in the back, then it just like lets everything flow out. But if the lot goes like, it has a big front and goes like this, it captures the blessings and captures everything in the back of it. So just little things that you learn from so many different cultures, and just, I don't know, I had some amazing clients through the years that have taught me a lot.
Yes, that is so cool.
So yeah.
Okay, what other?
I'm going to be the RRC president for the next 2 years, starting next year. So that's your certified resignation or certified real estate specialist. And there's so many cool designations in there. There's probate designations, luxury designations. Like if you really want to grow your business, you should get involved in getting your alphabet soup. That's what I call it. At first I used to be like, I don't need alphabet soup. I got this. Alphabet soup is so good. So I've taken, I think I've got almost every designation that Cheryl Knowlton does. And then with my CRS, I've got a probate designation, I think short sale designation. I've got a lot of different designations, but just having that knowledge, it's power. It really is, because then when somebody comes to you with a problem, regardless if you're going to sell their house or not, you know how to navigate to help them get to where they need to be. And then I've also taken all of my mediation courses, so I can actually mediate also. So I'm, you can't say court approved. I don't know what it is, but I am, I guess, basically approved to be able to do mediations for people. So yeah.
Okay. So yeah, you are one that just really expands your knowledge, and I think that gives your clients the best of the best.
It's good, because then when they come to you, you can solve their problems. Because when they come to you, you can't do anything. They're like, oh, she's dull, and they just kind of move on. But when you know what's going on with the market, when you know what's going on with interest rates, when you are kind of following from not only a financial standpoint, but all the way through, so many things affect our business that people don't pay attention to, from the political aspect of it to what the Federal Reserve's doing to what the stock market's doing. Like there's so many different moving pieces that we really should be watching, so that we know exactly what is going on, and not necessarily like you have a crystal ball, but you have a pretty good idea of what your business is going to look like if you're paying attention to what's going on around you.
Yes. And I want to go back to the door knocking, because actually one of my favorite stories you told was about one of your door knocking experiences, and so there's a couple of things that I want to talk about your door knocking. So do you still door knock?
Here and there, I'll go door knock with new agents. Okay. I don't door knock as much. Sometimes I will. I love it, honestly, because it's pretty fun.
Yeah. So. Okay, so when you were door knocking a lot to build your business, who were you door knocking? Was it just like a specific neighborhood? I know you mentioned Riverton at one point. What would you say to them? Was it only around open houses that you were hosting? Or like, why were you door knocking? Who were you door knocking?
So it was ultimately, I've door knocked for a lot of reasons, but one time I was door knocking and this guy beat on his door, was the door. I don't want to sell my house. And your heart starts beating out of your chest. You're like, oh my gosh, this guy's freaking out on me. I'm like, I don't want to sell your house. I'm like, who do you hate or who's going through a divorce so I can sell their house?
Yeah, I love that you said that.
And he from then on, he sent me a ton of referrals. I've received so many referrals from that day. And then I've had people where I've door knocked short sales, and that's pretty scary. You don't know if you're going to get hit up with and not short sales, but homes that are going into foreclosure that could be a potential short sale, so you could save them. And it's sad, but when you have the tools to be able to help them, and sometimes I had one client that was in Harriman, and I helped them. If they watch this, I'd be like, that was us. But I helped them get on the phone and negotiate to where they got a huge principal reduction and a workout on their loan, and they were able to keep it was like $200,000 principal reduction during the short sale era, and they got an interest reduction, and they were able to save their home and stay there because I think one of them had lost a job or something. So it was just by sitting there with them while they're on the phone and going through the motions. So there's so many things that you can do here, and yeah, it's hard when you don't make money. It's really tough, but if you don't make it about the paycheck, the money follows. It always does. It really, really does. So the more you help people, the more they refer you, the more you stay in front of them, the more you just try to be a good person. Just be a good person. That's it.
You've said this before, and I've heard it, and that's why during our Thankathon, I was like, I need to have Jen Mascaro in here because this is who you are. So, and I love that. You always are just giving without expecting anything in return. It just comes to you. So
it's
rewarding.
Blessed.
Yeah.
So it's good.
Okay.
So what else do you want to know?
Okay. So we did the door knocking. And then, what would you say if somebody did answer the door? What are you saying?
Well, it just depends. So sometimes if I'm taking one of my new agents out or trying to teach them how to do market analysis, because it's good for them to know the differences between properties and everything, because horse property is going to have a completely different value than a single family residential home that's on a quarter acre. So when we would door knock, I'd go out and say, this is my agent so-and-so. I need them to learn how to do a market analysis on a normal house versus a house with horse property. Would you let us do a market analysis on your home? Oh yeah, I'd love that. Or they would say, what is a market analysis? And I would explain to them that it's kind of like a baby appraisal or something that's going to give you some pretty accurate numbers of what's going on in your area and what your home is potentially worth. And they were awesome about it. So super awesome about it. So that's one thing. Like I said, I door knocked to give away pumpkins. I door knocked to give away, do a coloring contest. And then everyone would submit their coloring contest, and then and then we would vote on it and then take them a little prize or something.
I love that. And that's really getting the neighborhood and the community involved.
Yeah, for sure. We've done movies in the park where we go door knock and invite everyone and find a park and just do a movie in the park.
So you really are door knocking for numerous reasons.
Yeah, numerous reasons. The last thing you want to do is knock on somebody's door just to be like, hey, I want to sell your house. Because that's the last thing they want to hear. They're like, no, I don't want to sell my house. Or, they may or may not, but they don't want to be bugged to be asked. But if you have a purpose, and Utah's the best. I love Utah just for the simple fact that if you take somebody a plate of cookies, they will bring that plate back with cookies. Utah is amazing when it comes to giving and just being a kind person. And we really do have such a great charitable state. As much as we hear that it's so hateful and negative and the world's so hateful, we're pretty blessed to live in Utah. We have awesome people here.
We really do. I've lived in different states, and by far this is the best. And I feel safe. And it's just... It is a beautiful state with beautiful people, and
that's so true. It really is, and we're not always safe. I guess we need to have a disclaimer. There's some crazy out there, but at the end of the day, if you are a good person and you surround yourself with good people. And if you, like, I work with Little Miracles. I serve on their board. We do charity projects. We help so many people, families who've lost their dad to suicide or parent to suicide, families who've lost a parent to death or disability or whatever it may be, or they're just divorced and they just need help. Like, I love it. We will go into homes and completely renovate those homes to give those kids something completely different to look at than knowing that, hey, that's where my parent died on that couch every day when they walk in from school. So just some really cool things to give those kids something to look forward to and to know that there's so much good in the world to not give up.
And why was that important to you to get involved with something like that?
I've just always been that person, but I think at the end of the day, it's just, honestly, the first time I got called, Tiani Shoemaker calls me. She's like, Jen, you want to come help with this project? Yeah, sure. Show up. She falls off the ladder, breaks her leg. She's like, Jen, you're in charge. She's like, I'll be back. I'm going to go get it wrapped up. I'm all, Tiani, the bone's almost sticking out of your leg. You're not coming back.
Oh my gosh.
And so I carried her to the car. She got in the car and left. And then I was there with Lisa and we just ran that project and made it happen. And that was my first dive in because I was just there to check it out. I was prospecting and that's what happened. And from there to watch the reaction of that family, and it's not just that family that's receiving, it's all the people that are there helping to watch their hearts, like to watch. Charity is not, it's not about who we helped, it's about me. Like, I don't want to be on the TV. Most people are like, Jen, stay here for the reveal. I don't want to stay for the reveal. I want to get out of there. I just want to be there because it makes me feel good and then I can go home. So it's definitely about the community and being able to volunteer. It does. It brings you peace and happiness and joy when you see those little kids get their house and to be able to be there working and you have this whole group of people around you and you're able to help people. It's awesome.
I love that so much.
It's so good.
That's just who you are.
Yeah, well,
I know
thank
that you
you.
have a big heart. Okay, so let's talk about marketing. What kind of marketing do you do?
None. No.
Okay.
I know. I do here and there, and I try to market, but after 18, 20 years in this, because I did get it in 96, but then 2008 was kind of where it was at. So, and that's when I really started to focus, was in 2006 when I got my license the second time. But after all of this time, 18 years, my repeat and referred business is amazing. It's really awesome. And just to be able to have that is great. But my best marketing is when I'm driving down the road and I have a thought come to me like, you really need to call Joe. You really need to call Joe. Like, oh my gosh, I'm too busy. You really need to call Joe. And then I'll call and be like, I'm so happy you called because we need to do this or else we're going to have to sell our house, or we have to sell, I've had them where I need to sell my dad's house. He just passed away. Or if you listen to that like inner voice where it's like the universe will call out to you and be like, hey, guess what? You need to call so-and-so. It's like, oh my gosh, I don't have time to call so-and-so. And it will grow your business immensely.
You're the third person I've heard say that. And I talk to a lot of agents, but and it's like, and it's the same thing. They just get these like, I'll be driving from one point and then I just like call someone, or someone comes up in your thoughts. It's just like, just call them.
Yeah.
Like, you don't know why they came to your mind. Like, you just need to call them.
It is so true.
That's wild to me. I've actually had that with a couple of agents before, where it's like, I felt like an overwhelming feeling. Like, I really need to call them and check on them.
Yeah.
And see if they're okay. I mean, they were fine. Thank goodness. Because I was like, one of them I was really worried about. But then I called him and he was completely fine. But it was just like this overwhelming sense of like, I need to call him.
It's
for
so
whatever
true.
reason.
Yep.
Everything was fine. He said he was good. So I was like, okay, like,
so
you know?
Yeah,
I don't know.
It's so good. But there are times that I've called people and they break down and start crying and they're like, Jen, I was at the edge. Thank you so much for calling. Yeah, thank you for talking through this with me because I was done. I'm done with this. And so those moments, you never know whose life you're going to save, whose life you're going to make better, what you're going to do if you're being prompted to call. It's so important.
And that just goes with anyone.
Yeah, it does.
I mean,
doesn't matter.
yeah.
Because you'll get that little urge of that little push like, hey, you need to call that person real quick.
Yeah.
And when it's it's nuts that happens. But that's another big place that my business comes from, is just from staying in touch with them. And I wish I had more time to stay in touch with everyone, because I love my clients. We have a blast together. Like, we laugh so hard going through houses. And I had one of my really good friends that we've gone to school together since we were in 6th grade. We're walking through a house, and he's just carrying on. I think he's like a chief or a captain or something for a police department. So I'm not going to say any names, but he's gone through, and he's like telling me the story of what he thinks is going on in the house. And we were ready to like get this house, everything. He was so excited about it, but he's telling the story. And the story wasn't very nice, because he talked about decorating and how it wasn't very nice and a few things. And they ended up saying, no, we don't want your offer. And he didn't get the house because she had cameras through the whole house and was sitting there. He was just carrying on. He's like, oh, yep, I bet they're divorced. I bet they're, and he was just carrying on.
And he was just like joking.
So you guys don't talk about the house. Don't talk about what your financial strategy is, how much money you have in that house, no matter what, because there may be a like nanny cam hidden. So seriously, it's crazy. Wow. I think that it should be against the law. I think that they shouldn't be able to, because people will start to look at the house. You can tell by facial expressions if they're excited about it. It's just, I don't think it's fair, because it gives the seller an unfair advantage. And when people are like, well, this is what we're going to offer, but we really do have this, it's not fair. It really isn't. So to all you buyers agents out there, no, do not talk about it. Tell your clients, don't even talk about the house until we get in the car.
Oh my gosh, that's so funny. Well, I mean, not that he lost out on the house, but it's a learning experience. You're like, from now on, my clients do not talk about anything.
Like, don't make fun of their decorations. Yeah. Don't say this one's going through a divorce because she's mean. None of that thing. Yeah, it was pretty funny though. It really was.
So, okay, but how do you, like, I know you said you have like fun with your clients, but how do you keep them referring to you?
I don't know. Honestly, I just do a really good job for them, and then I follow up with them, or they'll call you. They'll be like, hey, when is a good time to refinance? Or when is this, or when is that? And so even just to call them and say, hey, rates just dropped like a point. You probably should call lender and get refinanced. Or
so you'll reach out to them.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yeah. But it's not as much as I should. I really should reach out more. But I just get so busy with so many things, like everything's going crazy. So I'll invite them to things and everything, or a lot of people that I sell to, I do business with. So I have a super cute girl that works at Cypress Credit Union who's a manager. And then her husband has an HVAC company. Mm-hmm. So then I refer a business. So it's just business to business referrals are awesome.
Yes.
But if you're in front of them all the time because you see them and you do business with them, it's awesome. It's great.
But you've even talked about restaurants, business to business.
Yeah. So that's another thing. I mean, you can do a fishbowl. Like, that was one thing that I learned when I very first started out. Get a plastic fishbowl and then offer to buy from the restaurant a gift certificate for like $25 for a lunch each month if they will put that fishbowl there. And then everyone puts their cards in it. You do a drawing for the $25 gift certificate for their restaurant. But in that, now you can create your newsletter or add them to your newsletter and offer like a coupon for that restaurant or whatever every month, where it's like, call them, say, hey, what are you going to special this month, or whatever it is, and create a newsletter for you, but then you can add all of their clients to it. So now they're going to get a coupon. The odds of them opening that newsletter knowing there's a coupon for their favorite restaurant, it's the circle. It's like, It's just the whole circle of giving back. So, and there's a lot of mom and pop restaurants here in Utah. There really is. And that's the other piece of it too. If you go into a restaurant and you love it, then create that relationship with them. Like, go in and be like, hey, I love your restaurant. The food is so awesome. I'd love to add you to my newsletter. Can we do a fishbowl where we do give away a free lunch? I'll pay for it. So then it creates, I guess, basically business for you, business for them, and it creates that relationship. So when they're there and you have their little servers taking the menu or taking their order, and somebody's talking about how they are going through a divorce and they need to get a real estate agent, guess who's going to be your biggest fan? That server that you go in and you tip really well and you talk to him. Hey, I know a real estate agent. Yes. She's our favorite, or he's our favorite. So it's being top of mind and creating something for them so they create something for you.
Yes, and when you said that, I was like, that is so smart.
Well, thanks.
I mean, you're helping a local business.
Yeah.
You know, and you get to eat there, that you liked going there, you know, and I mean, it's just so
And the
smart.
relationships, like,
Yeah.
I started waiting tables when I was 14 years old. Like, that was my thing. And my dad's like, why do you want to do this? You know, you could be making this, you could be doing this. And I'm like, I just love waiting tables. Like,
Yeah.
I love it. I had the best time. I worked at a little restaurant called Golden Tree in Riverton. And I still go in there, and they're like, oh, Jenny, I love you. Like, Shirley is the best. We have the best time. I tease her about all of her boyfriends in Hong Kong because she goes to Hong Kong all the time. But she laughs. She's like, she was our smartest waitress. She made the most money. And I just laugh. I'm like, why do you say this? She's like, oh, when all the wives go play that game, you know, that bunco game, all the husbands come in, they give $20, $20. And I was like 14, well, I was probably 15, 16 at that point, but I made so much money, like, just, I don't know, and it was awesome. It was so great because I got to hang out with all these people and serve them, and I don't know, I just learned a lot about life being a waitress. It sounds crazy, but you have to learn to be a chameleon, because when you approach one table, there's happiness, but the next table you approach it, there might be, like, they might be fighting. One's looking out the window, one's got their head down. You know, you just had to change your personality for every table that you touch. Wow. And so it's definitely different, but you learn how to deal with all the different personality types.
Yes, I love that. What a great analogy, and something that definitely helps you in life in general. You know, we have a family of servers too.
Yep.
So
do you?
Yeah, we always tip good, and then
That's awesome.
when my grandpa takes us out to dinner, we always leave extra money under the
Yeah, because you know he's gonna tip like 5%. That's what we do too. It's my dad is like, he's the same way, but I don't think he gets it because people don't realize that servers only make like $2 an hour.
Yeah.
So they are busting their butt. People are like, why do you do this? I'm like, it's like fishing. You throw your fishing pole out there, because I wouldn't ever add gratuity to tables. They're like, Jen, you're not gonna get paid. You're not gonna be paid. I'm like, no, this is like fishing, because you throw your pole out, you might get a little fish, you might get a huge fish.
Yeah.
And I would make pretty good money, so it was good.
Oh, that's
Awesome
awesome.
times.
Okay, so let's talk about if you were to give advice to a new agent, or I kind of want to do both. Like, what advice would you give to a newer agent? First, we'll do that one.
Advice in what?
Okay, let's just do this question. If you could give new agent Jen advice, what would you tell her?
Create a schedule
Okay.
and honor your family, and don't drop everything and run, because you get in that habit, then your clients expect it. But really create your business like a business, and time block. But in the time that you do have to be an agent, work that time, because the majority of agents, what did they say? They work like 88 minutes a week or something truly on their business. So give your business the true 40 and actually have everything laid out to what you're going to do on your calendar and time block it.
8 minutes?
Yeah.
A week?
Yeah. It's like not very big at all, because people get into real estate and they're like, oh, I'm going to go golfing with this lender. I'm going to go to coffee with this title person. Guess what? Don't do it. Don't do it. It's a trap. Sit down with that title person and ask them how to build your business. Sit down with that lender, ask them how to build your business. Learn about loans, learn about people, learn about everything that matters in the business instead of being out golfing or going to lunch or going for drinks. It's so important to build your business. Mm-hmm. So, even from an affiliate standpoint, like, as an affiliate, to be able to go in and give that new agent the tools that's going to give them create success, property profiles, and education about this is what your settlement statement is. This is how you read a title report. This is what you do. This is how you read a plat map. All those things are huge when you start to build your business, and the more they focus on it and treat it like a business, it will truly become a business. But if you just goof off all the time, just go find a different job. You will be treading water, and you will be so miserable, because working for commission is hard. It's so hard because you put all of your own money, your own time, everything out in hopes of closing that deal. And when that deal doesn't close, like I told my agents, I'm like, don't count your chickens with a hatchet, because don't count your eggs with a hatchet. Don't count your chickens with a hatchet, because it's not done till it's done.
Yes.
And so a lot of people will be like, I've got a check coming, I can go goof off, I'm going to go pay for this or that. Don't do it. Seriously, wait till the money is in the bank. And also have 10 irons in the fire, because odds are 7 of those, 8 of those, 9 of those are going to fail. So make sure that you constantly are working several
Don't let off
leads,
the gas.
not just one. Yeah, seriously, just treat it that way. But you asked me, we were talking about how to be successful and everything. Success is so, for some people it's measured by money, but over the last few years I've really realized that success is measured by balance and happiness. It really is, because you can have all the money in the world, but you're working your guts out. It's miserable. And we've lost some great agents and great people in the industry here recently to suicide and different things, because this business is so stressful. It's not easy. And don't ever get into the business thinking, I'll be like that person. I'll be like that person. It'll be so easy. It's the hardest thing in the world. This business is hard. It's not, we don't get enough credit for what we do. We really don't, because we go through a lot of hell. But so does your family. So put down your phone at dinner, put down, just really spend that time with your kids, spend that, because there's some time that I won't get back with my older 2 kids. That I wish that I would have had. I was at every basketball game. I was at the games, but I wasn't at the games.
Yeah,
I saw
I
them,
see what you're
but
saying.
I didn't see them. So take that time. It's an hour. It's the best hour that you will spend. Just enjoy your family. Take that moment, because it's rejuvenating for you, and it is so rewarding for them to have a little piece of your attention. Don't cry. I'm sorry. You're gonna make me cry. But that's the biggest thing that I would say, is that success is never measured by that. You're gonna make me bawl.
No, but it's true what you said. It's like I was there, but I wasn't there.
Yep. So put the phone down and take that time. They want to be the rock star for that hour of that game. Let them be the rock star. Like, really, it's so important. And I don't know, like I said, if you just have really good balance, it will all fall into place. With my older kids too, we would make it a challenge. I'd be like, hey, if mom gets this many deals, then we're going to go on a trip, or pick a prize that you want. And if I can get this closed, but you guys have to be really good. Those poor kids, they rode around from showing to showing to showing in the back of my car. We had a riot. It was awesome. But
Are they realtors now?
no. I know. My daughter always says she wants to be, and then she's like, yeah, no. All my friends are like, Jen, I'm going to get my license. And then they go with me for a day, and they're like, I hate your job. Your job sucks. You're always so busy. All you do is sit on the phone and just deal with people's problems. I'm a glorified counselor. That's what I am. But yeah, my friends would be all in, and then they're like, no, never mind. One day, it takes one day of listening to my phone ring, girl, I would never have your job. So it's crazy, but it's so good. It really is. There's nothing more rewarding than watching a smile on a first-time home buyer's face as they're getting their house, or the text that you get from somebody. I just got a text the other day. She accidentally texted me. She's like, can you please shut off our lights, or your porch lights, because we're getting in our hot tub. And she meant to text her other neighbor, Jen, but she texted me. And I'm like, oh, was that for me? And I'm like, I really hope you're not getting naked in that hot tub. And she messaged back. She's like, Jen, that's so funny. Oh my gosh, we love our house. We love you. Thank you so much. You need to come see it. So, that's what matters. That's what this job is all about. Or if you can help one person stop from going off that ledge, just be a good human. Really, money's great. It is so far from everything. It really is. It's just not.
It's true.
Yep, in the big scheme of things, it definitely.
And one thing I love about the real estate industry, or for you realtors, is there's so many ways to run your business. There's so many niches to get into, and
it's a career.
You can put as much into it as you want, or as little, but you're gonna get what you put out. You know,
it's so true. So that's the other thing too, is what you do. Your paychecks reflect what you did 90 days ago. Mm-hmm. Everyone's like, oh my gosh, I worked so hard, I'm not making any money. Well, what were you doing 90 days ago? Well, it was July, so I was off boating, or I was here, I was there. Guess what? your paycheck in 90 days is going to reflect that.
I'm so glad you're saying this now, because right now we're coming to that last quarter where like Halloween's October 31st, and for some reason people let off the gas October 1st.
Yep, it's
And then-
so true. Yep, they do. And the month of December, I do more business in the month of like December. And statistically, I would do a ton of business in December. Now, July, I'm doing a ton of business. But it is so nuts how your business reflects how hard you worked 90 days ago. It really, and it is so true. Like, you can go back through all your books and look at it and go, was I prospecting? Was I doing my job? What was I doing? And you can go back 90 days ago, yep, I deserve this. Big old kick in the pants. So
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing too. I've heard that like a lot of agents struggle with, like, they get one deal and then they like baby that deal, and they stop prospecting,
Yeah.
stop marketing, and then they're just like following this deal until it closes, and then they're like, oh,
Whoops.
now I don't have,
Yep, it's so true. Now I have to pay my bills that I haven't paid for 3 months because it took me 3 months to get here.
Yeah.
But one thing that I learned, and I'm trying to remember who I learned it from. I want to give credit to Lee Stern. I think Lee Stern taught us. But if you are bad with computers and you are bad with remembering things, get yourself a little index box and get the numbers 1 through 31 on the tabs. And then you write down, you start to call people, and you write all of your SOI, so your sphere of influence, for everyone who doesn't know what that is. So you write them down, their names on it and their telephone numbers. So then on day 1, you get into your box and you call the people on day 1, then day 2, and then you make notes on that card about what's going on with your family, if you have a bad memory, what's going on, when their birthday is. Then every month when you reach out to them in some way, you have notes. You have your card and you know who you're calling, because some people won't remember, like, who am I going to call? What am I going to do? And some people, a lot of old timers like me, are like, I don't need a CRM. That little index box is a great CRM, because then it has everything right at your fingertips to be able to say, oh my gosh, they have a kid playing soccer, they have a kid playing football, whatever it is. But remember those things. Like, take the time to note those things somewhere for these people, because that's their whole life. Like, their kids are their whole life. Some people go to work and they are lucky enough to have an 8 to 5 job or 9 to 5 job, and they get to go home and it shuts off. And so when you call them at 5 or you call them, yeah, they want to talk about the reason why they have that 8-hour job. There's a reason why. And so it's just the little things. Or if you call someone and they're so stressed because they need help with this or help with that, offer to go help them. Seriously, it's like the little things. When you have somebody who's like, I'm doing a yard sale and oh my gosh, I've got so much crap. Do you need some help? Like, if you don't have business, you can generate business. Wake up every morning unemployed and find yourself a job, because you can. So it's like, wake up, nope, I don't have a job today. You call till you get your butt a job, and then you get yourself a job, and it just evolves.
Bam.
So, yeah.
I love that. That's awesome advice. Okay, so we are running out of time.
Okay.
But is there any last things that you would like to say?
What do you want to hear?
I don't know. I don't know.
Just
Anything that we didn't talk about.
Life is hard, and the pressure of the universe is super, super hard right now. So people, just lean on people, talk to people. Don't shut down. It's so, so important to get out and talk to people and surround yourself with good people. And I don't know. I know that it's hard. Like, even just call me, call someone, text me. I'll send you a dirty joke or something. I'm just joking. Everyone knows how I am. But honestly, just get out and be around people. And we're coming up on election time. Know your policies. Know what you want to vote for. Really be involved in your communities, because so many people feel so heavy from, gosh, nothing's ever going to change. You have to, change starts in your core family and in your core, and actually getting out and engaging in community council and engaging in school boards or whatever it is. If you're upset about what your kids are being taught, if you're upset about what's going on in your community,
Get involved.
yeah, get involved. Donate your time. Get out there and see it, because even from the real estate perspective, our job is so influenced by politics, money, like the Federal Reserve, what's going on in political, the stock market,
Everything.
and yeah, even in your community. If your community is turning into a crack hole and you have this little crap, we call them the shiz shacks, you know what? See if you can get a community dumpster. Get everyone in the neighborhood to go help that person, because it might be an elderly person that can't do it, or somebody who is just so depressed that they can't get out of their own way. Get that dumpster and go rally the people around you and go help them, because the only way to create change is for you to get in and help people, and for you to get in and change. Like, it's so important.
I love that.
So
and yeah, we were talking about that before. So thank you for sharing that, because it's so true. If you want to see change, you have to get involved and make a difference. Yeah. So thank you so much for being here. Where can people follow you?
I just love you. I don't know. I have just my @Jen Mascaro and our little Mascaro Group Utah Facebook page.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for being here. I love you.
Okay, I love you too. You're the best. I'm so happy I met you.
Me too.
We hope you enjoyed this episode. Please rate us, like us, and share this podcast with our real estate community. The Nova Show Real Estate Record, sharing raw stories of real estate failures, lessons, wins, and successes. This is all from Novation Title, bringing a different experience into your world so that we can all uplift each other. Until next time.